Enjoy. It doesn't matter who starts, whoever.
Okay, I can give a short summary for this situation. There's a student whose name is Maru. I think it's a female student. She is taking a human communications course, and in this class there are some kind of forms, tasks for students, such as the presentations, participate in group discussions, and post ideas online like that. And when Maru make her first presentation, he is surprised that the professor asked her classmates to fill in an evaluation sheet about her presentation, just like you guys do. And some of these students write down the comments, but most of them just circle the number on the sheet from the low score to high score, like from 1 to 6, and the low is high. And it has different categories like contents or other size. And when Maru is given an evaluation sheet to fill for her classmates, he always circles the high number because he feels that the other American classmates speak better than she. And she believes they are native speakers, so they are better. Besides, she doesn't write any comments for others because he doesn't want other classmates to read her poor English. Finally, when Maru get her evaluation sheet back from the professor, there are two sheets from the professor. One is the score given by the professor and the professor's comments. Another one is the average score by her classmates, and also include her classmates' original evaluation form and their comments. And she is very surprised that her professor will agree with some of her classmates' evaluation and comments. More importantly, she feels angry because one of her classmates evaluated that her comments were not very clear in the middle of her presentation, but has the good introduction and the good conclusion. And she finally got a 4 score on her presentation by her professor. And he feels that's unfair because the professor will regard their classmates' opinion, and she spent a lot of time on this presentation. So she believes that her professor is a communication expert. Her professor shouldn't consider other students' opinion.
For me, I think Maru, she wasn't supposed to be angry when she received the grade, because that was the rule from the professor, and he asked each of the classmates to grade and evaluate the other classmates. So she had to accept their opinions and their comments about her presentations, even if it's fair or unfair.
Almost I agree with you, but I think the professor makes a big mistake. He should keep the classmate evaluation, and he doesn't give the Maru the classmate evaluation, because that, I think, when he give Maru the classmate evaluation, maybe that makes some problems or like this. Also, Maru makes also mistake when she doesn't write comment to her classmate. She is supposed to write to her classmate, because the professor give all the students the same chance to evaluate others.
Yeah, I think for some courses, for some kind of courses, what you are saying is good for students. But I think because this course is a communication course, I think the style in this class is important to evaluate others. I think that's a kind of communicate between the students and the students and the students and the professor. The professor, I think it is the biggest problem, I believe, for this case. Because Maru doesn't write anything for her classmates. I think it's a kind of problem that he refused to communicate his idea, to express his idea to others. And the professor asked the students to write some comments. I think it might be depends on the different culture from some students' idea. Maybe that's kind of offensive, but in some situations, I think that's a kind of communication between students and students. Students' comments may help Maru to improve his skills, and some of them write some evaluation in detail, like the middle part of his presentation. Her presentation was not so clear, and I think she can improve her presentation.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is good for the student to get comments and evaluate from other classmates. And so the professor was right in this case, but the wrong in this problem, why he grade the comments? Because I think his or her opinion, the professor, it's still not like the other classmates' opinions, because maybe he know more than the students, or her view it's totally different about the students. So the professor wasn't supposed to consider the grade. It is helpful for the students to get evaluate and to get the advice or the comments from other classmates. But in this case, I think also the professor was wrong.
I think the professor have the right, and because that, I think the students in the communication class have the ability to evaluate each other, and this, I think, a big part of this class. When you heard the communication course, I think the mean of the word communication all together should share the comments or speech or communication together. I think the Maru makes mistakes because she doesn't put herself with the Native American groups. Even she has a poor English. Even she doesn't write anything, she will never learn anything.
Yeah, I think it's not the major in the engineering or some other kind of major or field. It's a course of communication. So I don't think her professor, who is the communication expert, is the only one who has the right to judge whether she has a good communication or presentation. So I think the presentation is a kind of communication. So in the lower level or in the students level, they also have the right to judge whether the presentation is a good communication. And one more point. I think another mistake she made is that she believed the other American classmates are better than her. I think she's not that confident of herself, and because I think American students may good at on the grammar points, but there are a lot of aspects or categories for a presentation. Like the example shows that the content or the pace or the presentation skills like that. So we still have other parts of the presentation. So I think maybe she is good at other parts, and some American students are weak on that part. So she also can give some comments to others for other parts, and she should be confident.
For me, if I see this situation from other side, I focus on Maro. I have really is life example this term. I know one of my friends, he is from Saudi Arabia. He took the communication class this term in the DU. After 1 week, he canceled the communication course because he was lacking a lot of confidence, and a lot of times he told me I misunderstand because the professor communicate with the native English American students with the specific topics like about the film, movie, music. He told me I didn't have any background about these topics. That makes me like feel I'm not ready to communicate with the American students. I think Maro, in this time, this is the first presentation. I think I can excuse her because the situation and the first time she took the class with American students, I think it is hard for her. I can excuse her this time.
Yeah, that's why I said she wasn't supposed to be angry, because she is non-native speakers, and her classmates and the professor, all of them are native speakers. So maybe they have the same opinions about her, or their language is more better than her. So when they grade the content, maybe they are really true that her content wasn't better as he think. Because everyone, when he do presentation or any kind of activities, they think they do good. So, but the other classmates or other professors think the opposite. So she had to accept their comments.
Yeah, for me, I would say she has to accept, but I think it's a way to help her to improve her English presentation style or other kinds of like grammar or contents. So it's better for her to accept others' idea or comments.
Yeah, and I think 4 compared to 1 or 2, it is for non-native speakers. It is very good.
And I think the solution is easy. The professor can keep her classmate evaluation and just give her one evaluation that from me, if I were the professor, and that's it. I think Maro will accept my evaluation if I were the professor. I don't give her the classmate evaluation.
I don't think if the grade was given by the professor, only by the professor, is the fire way. You know, sometimes if the professor provide a low score for students, the students may not believe that's the fire way for students. Maybe to consider other students' idea is a better way. So for me, I think maybe there are 2 kinds of solution or 2 parts of the solution. One is maybe the professor should ask all the students to write the comments because some of them just give the score without their comments. Maybe they just didn't take their consideration into her presentation, and they just circle the number arbitrary. So I don't think. I think if they give their comments, they have their reason. So if they have their specific reason, the professor will consider their score as reliable, more reliable. Besides, I think for sometimes maybe the professor can adjust the proportion from the score, which part from the students or which part from the professor. Maybe like what Maro believed, the professor's grade is probably more important. Maybe the professor can adjust himself's grade into like 60%, and other students is on the 40%, like that. And the professor can show the rules or the standard before the class and let students know their pattern or their style.
I don't agree with you. If I were professor or a teacher, I will take my responsibility. I will grade the whole grade paper. I don't give the classmates like chance to get 40% from the grade. I think this, if I make this, I think I will make like some problems. For example, I will not agree or accept any grade from other students. I will feel these students give me grade that I don't really. I feel I'm better than this grade. I think the professor just take his responsibility to put to grade the whole paper grade without any classmate sharing in the grade. I think just sharing in comments or participating in comments, I think it is good, but without any sharing in the paper grade.
Yeah, I think the professor hasn't considered the grade because it may lead to negative impact on the students more than helping them. So the way to evaluate them or to give them a comment is good, but without grading them. It just consider them like if I were the professor, I like when I grade the students, I am fair or not fair. I consider their comments about like this without to grade them from other classmates.
Yeah. For example, if Lee, my best friend, I will give him the high grade. I will ignore all his mistakes in grammar or just even I didn't hear you, Lee, I will give him the high grade because he is my best friend.
Yeah, I agree with Yutu's opinion. I think the grades sometimes represent their true ideas, but sometimes maybe there's some biases into their grades and maybe may cause some problem with us. So I think to give us classmates to give their comments is a best way to both improve their to help the students to improve their skills and both to express the others' opinion. I think it's a kind of communicate.
Do we have any questions?
Do you think her classmates' evaluation were biased or because they maybe didn't like her?
According to this case, I think her classmates didn't have the bias because it's the first presentation, and they don't know each other, and some of them give the evaluation in detail. But I believe sometimes this kind of situation.
And also, all of the classmates didn't like that the professor considered the grade from other classmates.
Because that a lot of them don't write any comment.
Yeah, most.
Other questions?
You guys think that all for like international students will feel comfortable with the Native American students? Like in a classroom, if you can imagine about a classroom with 8 Native American and 2 international students, how these 2 students will feel, like will they feel comfortable in speaking, or they just ignore, like or they feel free to interact?
I can answer you. Of course not, because this Native American student grow with their language, not like us, just 1 year or 2 years. If you like exchange or replace the situation and put one American student with the Arabic students, I am sure they will never feel comfortable. He will feel he lacks a lot of things.
Even they are strong, they'll not come up with their ideas.
Yeah, because the language. The Native American spent all his life learn the English language from the elementary school until the college or university. But for us, like international student, we spent like 1 or 2 years. I think it's not enough to feel comfortable inside the like English class.
Yeah, even I am strong, or my personality is more strong. I will still feel uncomfortable with native speakers.
Yeah, but for me, I think sometimes I may think nervous because actually, especially in the grammar aspect, they are stronger and they are better. But I think it's helpful. At least it's helpful. So sometimes I prefer to give a presentation in between some native speakers because they are better. So I think I can improve myself. So sometimes I believe this kind of situation.
Yeah, you can improve. But what about your feeling?
You have positive energy,
I think
or
Yes, both some disadvantages and advantages. So sometimes it makes me nervous, but I think sometimes it's good.
do you feel comfortable with all Chinese students? If you are in a room of 10 Chinese students, you feel comfortable in talking in English?
No, I don't think so. I think it's not a good idea.
I think the professor in America like to throw joke during the classroom. I think all of us maybe put himself in this situation when the professor throw the joke. All the American student was laughing, except because you don't have any background. Just laugh with him.
I have a question. Why do you think the professor needs the students to have such kind of evaluation for their classmates, even though there exist many disadvantages of doing so?
Yeah, first of all, I think because it's a communication course, I think that's a kind of communication between students and professors. The students give the evaluation as they not only communicate with the professor. Professor will see their evaluation whether they are correct. They have the correct judgment, and it's also a kind of communicate with the presenter. Besides, I think it's a right for students to give their comments for a presentation, and it's also a right for the speaker to accept or not to accept others' idea. I think is the balance situation.
I want to add something. I think that communication means listening and speaking in the same time. The students should focus in the listening also like the speaking. But I think the professor can share them in the evaluation, but don't share them in the grade. I think the professor wants to improve the listening activity or listening ability to his students.
So if you were Maru, would you go talk to the professor?
Maybe I can talk to him. I will explain my situation. I have a poor English. I can't write or read like them because that don't give me like my classmate evaluation because I can't read or write like them.
I disagree with him because I'm non-native speakers. I will not talk with the professor because I think he was right. And as I said, for non-native, it's compared to 1 or 2, it is very good for non-native. So I will just accept his grade.
Yeah, I think it's kind of I agree with her because I won't discuss the professor's style or whether he's correct. I think it's kind of stupid behavior, but I may ask him to get clear his rules, his style, or like what I said, the proportion for the grade, and I will get clear how to get a higher score next time. Maybe that's the...
I don't agree with you because I think the professor has a sense when he deal with the international students. He know these students lack a lot of abilities that makes them like the native students. I think the teachers or the professor knows that because that I think he will help Mar, of course.
Other questions? Okay.